So how's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of Here's the Thing at the End of the Day, episode 15. We've gone
Ooh.
5 over the the decasode. Sounds like that's honestly sounds like a dinosaur.
Yeah, it does.
Hey, decasode! Those kids are over there. You should eat them.
Yeah.
Who's the guy from Jurassic World again? What's his name?
That dude, I don't even know.
Guy from Wreck. He's over there. Eat him.
Anywho.
Force that blonde chick. Anyway. So, Ricky, what are we discussing in this episode?
So pretty much we're going to be talking about the 2 wildcard games today a little bit. I guess about some of these head coaching vacancies and some of the reports that have been coming out about some of the other head coaches, the Rooney Rule. So basically, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know what we're talking.
We're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Just go with it.
All right, so let's first of all talk about the Patriots.
Oh God.
And the lack. I'll say this right now, okay? I am not a Patriots fan. I don't particularly like the Patriots. I think that Tom Brady is a snob. Bill Belichick lacks prime social skills needed to live in an everyday life. I think Bob Kraft is just a drunk old man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, me personally, look.
But let me finish this.
Go ahead.
But I'll say that, like, when nobody talks about the Patriots, like, I don't care about the Patriots. I think that when people start saying negative things about the Patriots is when I start hating the Patriots more than I ever did. Because we all know that they're probably going to win the Super Bowl no matter what people say about them. Or, it's really stupid. But you move on to what you were going to say.
Well, no, I was gonna say, like, basically, like, normally, like you said, you hit the head on, you hit the nail on the head. Normally, when people don't talk about New England, they kind of just don't do much. But then, like, once people start talking about them, like, oh, this could be the end of the dynasty. Guess what? They go and win a Super Bowl. Exactly. So obviously that's why I'm trying to not talk about them as much, because I feel like that this is all stupid drama that is completely dumb and completely stupid and has no, like, weight to it. And then, like, at the end of the day, they're going to win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady's going to retire, and then Bill Belichick's going to be like, I'm out, and then, like, he'll retire. I'm just going to say this right now. Bill Belichick will not go to New York. He won't. He would most likely retire before he even takes another coaching job. So yeah. Give me one moment. Give me a sec.
Person's, what's it called? I think it was on Facebook, and I posted on their page.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I lost you for a second. Well, what were you gonna say?
No, I'm not sure if you heard what I was saying. I was basically saying Bill Belichick has more of a chance of retiring than taking the head coaching job of the New York Giants, like someone's saying.
I just got a update. Patriots owner Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick absolutely will be the team's head coach in 2018. But what I was gonna say was that I think I posted this somewhere. It was like, honestly, the media, ever since Deflategate and ever since really ESPN kind of looked bad with a lot of their sketchy, they're absolutely positively sketchy reporting. I think I said something like, it was like, well, Jimmy G is the heir to Brady. Oh shit, they must hate each other, despite the fact that Brady has been quoted saying he respected Jimmy. Belichick didn't let Brady's friend in the locker room. Shit, that means that Belichick and Brady hate each
Yep.
other.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's
And then
dumb.
Bob Kraft told Belichick to trade Jimmy G against Bill's wishes. Shit, that means Bill hates his boss. All of those reports will culminate in the Patriots winning the Super Bowl because that's how they deal with adversity. It's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
lot of nonsense.
Yeah,
It's just a lot of nonsense.
look, let me just put it to you this way. If the Patriots are seriously going through this crap, this is hands down the dumbest like nonsense I've heard. It's like people are dumb. They traded Jimmy Garoppolo because they had trade value and that it wasn't like they were going out of their way to get rid of Jimmy G.
No.
The 49ers called him.
There were a lot of teams that wanted him. The Browns wanted him. Obviously, the Niners wanted them. They got him. I'm not sure. Maybe the Jaguars wanted him at the time. It's a load of garbage, really.
Yeah. In all honesty, this is going to result in another Super Bowl. We all know, like once there's like this happened in 2014, and even I don't know about last year, but I know in 2014 they're talking about, oh my God, like the Patriots, they don't look like what they used to be, and I think they started 2-2, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. So it's like, guys, chill.
The only time they ever were unable to battle adversity was their 18-1 season, but they also 16, the first team to go 16-0 in a regular season in history, besides all the Madden teams that I use on
exactly
on rookie mode. Anyway,
well,
load of garbage.
Yeah, so let's move on. I want to talk about this. So the I don't know why the Chiefs are saying this before a playoff game, but then again, I don't know when the report came out. Apparently, they are willing to trade Alex Smith. Now, there are two teams reportedly interested, that being Cleveland and Arizona. Alongside that, what was I going to say? Basically, the point is that, with Carson Palmer's retirement, pretty much the Cardinals are SOL unless they can get a quarterback. But me personally, I think if I'm the Cardinals, I'd rather just take my chances on just drafting a guy than getting Alex Smith. I personally think that.
How does this sound? None of those teams get Alex Smith. The Broncos get Alex Smith.
I would not be surprised by that at all.
I don't think the Cardinals would get Alex Smith. I think the Broncos are one of those teams that they just don't seem willing to draft guys. I mean, obviously.
Well, me personally, I thought, this is what's interesting. That opens up another spot for Kirk Cousins because obviously it depends on what the Washington Redskins do. Because if they're not willing to pay Kirk Cousins, I personally mocked him going to the Broncos because it was originally the 49ers, but the 49ers already secured that. So, I personally think it's going to come down to Arizona or the Broncos. I think they'd be perfect fits for him.
Yeah.
And also Bruce Arians retiring, so that also puts
I don't think I mean, this might be too premature, but I don't think the Redskins are going to go after Cousins. I really don't. I think that he's worth the money, but they're not. I don't think they're going to try to go after him because, he hasn't gone to the playoffs in 2 years. He's put up mediocre records for them. They went from 8-7-1 8-7-1 to 7-9. I don't think that that's a way for them to kind of, take up more of what they take up more cap space. I think they're gonna draft a quarterback.
Me personally, I would not be surprised if the Redskins did that. It also depends on their free agency moves.
I also would be surprised if the Redskins were the landing spot for Alex Smith.
Yeah, I want to be surprised. I want to be surprised if they look. Let me just put it to you this way: the Redskins are in between a rock and a hard place because obviously they're either gonna have to dish out a huge mega contract to keep this guy here, or they're gonna have to go out and get an Alex Smith or draft a guy. And me personally, I would not be surprised if the Redskins and the Giants both drafted quarterbacks. And I'm hoping that the Giants draft Sam Darnold and set them back a million years to Just saying, I don't know why people are overrating. And we'll get into the quarterbacks
We'll get
later
into-
on. But like the point is that look, I think that I just think that Kirk Cousins will be gone. He won't be a Washington Redskin no more. It's just a matter of who's willing to pay him that much money. Me personally, I think the Broncos are one of those teams. I think Arizona, I wouldn't be surprised, but don't be surprised what John Elway can do in free agency.
or what he decides not to do.
Yeah, that too.
So you want to go to the quarterbacks?
Yeah, gladly.
Okay. So the quarterbacks that are current guys who are expecting to come out of this year's draft or into this year's draft. You have Sam Darnold out of USC.
Ugh.
You have Josh Rosen out of UCLA. You have Baker Mayfield out of Oklahoma. You have Lamar Jackson out of Louisville, which Kelly always tells me to call it Louisville, even though it's spelled Louisville.
Louisville?
Let's be honest here. Who knows what the spelling really is? French.
The world. Yeah.
And then the other one was what's his name? Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm.
Jake from Wyoming.
Oh, what's his name? Oh my god.
I think his name is Jake.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen?
Josh Allen's the kid from Wyoming.
Oh, okay, yeah, his name's Josh, not Jake. I said
Jake Allen.
I said my bad. Wait, is his name Josh or Jake?
It's Josh. It's Josh Allen.
Okay. So, whoops.
You misassumed his name. That's messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess
Next I'll be assuming his gender identity.
yeah. He's an attack helicopter. Now, so my question to you, Hank, is which QB would you personally take? Like, say for example, you could take any of these QB prospects to be the future of your franchise. Say for example, you don't have Carson Wentz. Which one would you take, and which one would you most likely try to avoid?
I would take Jake Allen. His name's Jake now, okay, bro. Sorry, your name's Jake. All right, sorry, Josh. I would take Josh Allen because I think I am the most. I mean, he plays in the lesser of the less of the conferences, but I am enamored by his abilities. I saw him in his bowl game. I think they played against West Virginia, Wyoming.
I believe they did.
Virginia, something like that. And they won, and he actually played a pretty good game. I don't necessarily think he's going to be the best. I think right now he is the most underrated. Okay. I think right now you have to look the highest right now at Baker Mayfield. Now Baker Mayfield might not be the best when everything's all said and done, but as of right now, he looks like the best. Like across the board, he looks like the best. The issue is he's not your stereotypical kind of, NFL ready. He's not one of those quarterbacks that scouts are looking at and saying, well, he has the most potential because of his, height, weight, penis size, all that stuff. But he's practical. His character isn't the best. He doesn't have he doesn't have the best off the field common sense, and sometimes on the field common sense with some of the things that he's shown that he's done. Like what he once pretended to jerk off in front of the University of Kansas team because they. But I think that right now you have to go with him just because of his overall body of work.
Yeah, I got you.
Quarterbacks, you're more likely to stay away from them. Probably the best Big 12 quarterback to come out is Ryan Tannehill. And the guy I would stay away from, unfortunately, is um, it's either Lamar Jackson or it's Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold appears to be the front runner for the first overall pick or the first overall quarterback pick. And his issue is he's probably, I mean, besides the fact that he has the best character of all the guys coming out, but he should be going back to college. And more than likely he's going to be drafted by the Browns, and the Browns are going to mess up his career.
No. He's going to get drafted by the Giants.
The reason why I would say stay away from Lamar, he doesn't have the passing quality
down. Yeah, I agree.
He is he's going to be, if you draft him, he will be the biggest project. He will be, because he doesn't have the passing quality down. He doesn't.
Yeah, like I will tell you this:
who will do RPOs 25 times a game.
I will tell you this, Hank. Depending on where Lamar goes, like if he has to go to a place that fits his play style, because if he goes to a team like the Redskins, for example, let's say the Redskins, like, I don't know, they decide to draft him. I personally think that he wouldn't fit there. I don't think that if he goes to a team that relies a lot on a passing game, he will not succeed there. Now, I'm just saying, yes, he is definitely worth a first-round pick, but it depends on who's drafting him. But getting back to, well, for my sake,
in my opinion, he shouldn't be a quarterback.
Me neither.
He needs to be a skill position.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think that. Put him at wide receiver or something. I don't know. But look, let me just put it to you this way. My personal top quarterback, and he's going to be my top quarterback unless something happens tragically at the combine or whatever, he is Baker Mayfield. He, hands down, is the best quarterback prospect in this draft. And, that
doesn't mean he's going to be the best.
Everyone,
that doesn't mean he's going to be the best. That just means right now he is the best.
Yeah. Like, for example, when I say he's the best prospect, what I mean by that, I don't mean when he comes out, he's going to be the quote-unquote best player out of all of them. I just mean he has the most potential, and right now he has that potential unless I get proven otherwise. Anywho,
I mean, right now he was the most winningest quarterback of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Again, that doesn't mean anything, because
I mean, look at Kellen Moore.
We should all draft Jalen Hurts.
Or look at Kellen Moore, for example. The dude is the winningest college quarterback in college football history, and the dude's a bum. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, he's a pretty nice guy. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
But for a quarterback to stay away from, it's definitely Sam Darnold. My reasoning for that is because number one, he's a USC quarterback. That's number one. And number two, the dude's a sophomore.
He's a true sophomore, right?
He's a true sophomore. And I never trust people. Like, I never trust quarterbacks that come out in their second or first. Well, I don't know, a quarterback that comes out of the first year, but anyhow, the point is, I only trust quarterbacks that are juniors or seniors, mainly because if they are there for 3 or 4 years, that means that they are more developed and they have their skills more perfected, as opposed to someone like, for example, when Johnny Manziel came out, I didn't trust him because I knew he had a skill set, but the problem was I felt like if he needed to stay a bit longer so that he could perfect it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't.
And the other thing is, people saying that Baker Mayfield is another another Johnny Manziel. You have to understand that Johnny Manziel never perfected his passing in college.
Yeah, exactly.
One first team. I'm pretty sure that the Oklahoma Sooners would score like 35 points a game, I believe.
Yeah.
Even in their loss, they still scored 35 or maybe 38 points in that game. I forget.
They scored 48 points in that Rose Bowl. Like, it was
exactly. And I don't like he even caught a touchdown in that Rose Bowl game.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to everything, Johnny Manziel never did that. Even during Johnny Manziel's Heisman winning season, he never did that. He was an RPO guy, run pass option.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing more. I mean, Baker Mayfield, I'm going to say this, Baker Mayfield will be, if he succeeds, he will be what Johnny Manziel could have been if he had perfected his skills.
But the other thing is that I agree with some people when they say that Baker Mayfield will not have a clean pocket in his rookie year.
He
will also struggle. But if the Giants pick a quarterback, they're going to pick Josh Rosen because Josh Rosen is the most like Eli Manning in this draft.
I will tell you this. If you're looking at a pure passer, Josh Rosen is the best passer. If you're looking at a pure like talent all around the board with amazing like potential, that's Baker Mayfield. If you're looking at a guy that you want to do some read option stuff and more like a Michael Vick kind of guy, get Lamar Jackson. If you're stupid, you take Sam Darnold. So if the Jets are stupid,
I think he's stupid for coming out this early. I really do.
I really do. Yeah,
it will ruin his career because the Browns might take the only thing that would help him is let's say for instance he gets drafted by a team like New England, or he gets drafted by a team like I don't know. Let's say he gets drafted by a team like Jacksonville.
Okay.
At least he has a guy in front of him, that can teach him the trade of being a quarterback before he actually, or maybe even the Saints. Let's say the Saints draft him down to the Saints. That would be a golden opportunity for a guy like him because he can get redshirted for like 2 years and then he'll be prepared. Because I think that Drew Brees would be an amazing teacher.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold
or the Ravens. Yes.
I don't want to like get it twisted. I personally think Sam Darnold, I don't hate him. The problem is that I don't like him going at a high pick. Yeah. If he goes to a New England or I don't know about that, like you said, but if he goes to a team like the Saints, like you mentioned, the Ravens or something, I wouldn't mind that. Because then he's learning from someone and he's being redshirted, and then I think he can be a solid, I think he could be a solid QB. The problem is that if you draft him and you expect him to be your day one starter, it's not going to turn out so well, and his confidence could be killed. But
his confidence will get shot down so hard. Or the Steelers.
Good point.
But because let's be honest, this Josh Dobbs,
Joshua Dobbs is worse than Landry Jones, and that's saying something.
Is the next Dak Prescott, bro.
I personally thought no, I gotta wait before we go any further. I have to talk about this pet peeve that I've been having with. But before we get into that, because I do want to talk about our teams, kind of. The state of it. I want to kind of shift focus to that before we get into the head coaching stuff because that's going to be a ton. And then we'll get into the wildcard games. So the Cowboys look like that they're going to lose defensive coordinator Rod Marinelli to retirement, which would kind of suck. But at the same time, I don't know. Like me personally, I think it's for the best of the future. If Rod retires, would I be upset? Yeah, a bit because he is a very important, component.
But who are you replacing him with?
The linebackers coach, Mike, whatever I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's actually he's done a pretty solid job with the linebackers. So like, I wouldn't mind him being the defensive coordinator. But here's my thing. What more worries me is Will McClay. Apparently the Texans are trying to lure him away from Dallas. So I want Jerry to pay him like a freaking king. Heck, make him the GM. But unfortunately, if Will McClay leaves, I think that the Cowboys are in a huge mess of trouble.
Yes.
Because
Same with Douglas on the Eagles. The Texans want him too.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying hopefully Jeffrey Lurie pays him like a GM. Because I do want Douglas to eventually push out Howie Roseman
for GM. Yeah, I personally think when Jerry dies, I hope that Will McClay's still around so we could promote him to GM. But look, I think that the Cowboys right now, they're going through a serious overhaul with the coaching staff now, which is a very good move. I think that you need to churn your roster churn your coaching staff ever so often to kind of update yourself with the players that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, look, at the end of the day, I hope that we get some good pieces here to help out their receivers and whatnot. But getting back to what I was saying about Dak, there are many Cowboys fans. Well, not many. There are a couple Cowboys fans coming out here saying, "Oh, Dak's a bust. He sucks." And it's funny that they say that because it's his second year, and statistically speaking, he did just about he just did a decent I would argue that he had a better season than Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, had like 19 touchdowns and like 12 interceptions this year?
Dude, don't even try to say something like that because let's be honest, like Dak Prescott sucks.
Yeah, Dak. Yeah, we can't bring knowledge. We can't bring logic into this.
Dak. Hey, Ricky. You know what I think about Dak?
What?
Dak is not better than Wentz.
Oh no, it's not like he's a second overall pick. It's not like he's a second overall pick and he's expected to do better. But
it's not like Carson Wentz is Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, the people have been joking around like they're, instead of calling them the Eagles, they're starting to call them the Unified Church of Wentz. Which it's starting to look like that more and more. But getting back to Dak Prescott,
I don't believe in that stuff.
I'm more of a Pastafarian.
I'm a Pastafarian. Pasta on my head. No, it's a strainer, right?
Yeah, it's a strainer. That's what they're called. But getting back to what I was saying, if you look at statistics, if you add like literally all of the touchdowns Dak has scored, he statistically had a better season than Matt Ryan did. And it's funny because people want to tell me that Dak sucks. We need to start Cooper Rush. We need to draft a quarterback. Any Dallas Cowboys fan that says that is either drunk or they're not a real Cowboys fan. Plain and simple. Because
or my favorite line, you don't know anything about football.
Yeah, that too. Let me put it to you this way. I understand that Dak is not, like, people want to be like, well, Dak's not wrong. Well, yeah, of course Dak's not almost like a 15-year vet that's played the game since 2003 and been developed. It's like, Jesus, like, you're making it seem like, let me put it to you this way. Dak Prescott is he's statistically doing better than Troy Aikman did in his first 2 seasons. Definitely, he's doing statistically better than, I think he's slightly a bit below Romo's first 2 seasons. But
I think the major issue is the fact that his lack of touchdown production, like, was basically nothing until between like week 14 and week 17.
Yeah, and this is what's crazy, and this also kind of annoys me, is that if you look before this, and the Zeke Elliott suspension was much more impactful to Dak than I thought it was going to be. And let me put it to you this way. Before the suspension, Dak Prescott had 16 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 4 rushing touchdowns. And let me just put it. And let me just say this: he was on pace for 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 8 rushing touchdowns. That is an amazing season.
Yeah. I mean, it was the same thing with Foles. You know, Foles, he threw 27 touchdowns. He had 29 total touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and like 4 fumbles or something, like 4 fumbles lost or something like that. And the next season, he had 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I don't think he had a rushing touchdown. Everyone's like, he sucks, get rid of him. And what did we do? We got rid of him. And I mean, let's be honest, like Mark Sanchez played so good.
Yeah, I know, so good.
He's the greatest.
I know we all know. Don't even question it.
Greatest at sucking, but according to Kelly, Dak Prescott said that Mark Sanchez, the dirty Sanchez butt fumble himself, was the greatest quarterback's coach for him because Tony Romo, and I quote, did not give Dak the time of day. So yeah.
Yeah, shut up. See, this is the thing. Also, Dak, sometimes I think he needs a solid QB coach, which I wouldn't mind if Mark Sanchez came back as a QB's coach. People be like, "Oh, you're so stupid for saying that." It's like, no. Let me put it to you this way: just because you can't just because like your career might not look as good does not mean that you're not intelligent or you're not athletically gifted. Like Mark Sanchez is an extremely intelligent QB. The problem is that his on the field play doesn't showcase that.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just put it to you this way before we move on to your Eagles, because there is something we need to talk about and how I think stupid some Eagles fans are. Again, Dak Prescott is the future of the Dallas Cowboys. He had one down season thanks to a bunch of drama, and then this is what's going to happen. The Cowboys are going to rebound in 2018. It's just a historical thing that's happened. The Eagles, they're probably going to suffer the curse of the number 1 seed and being the NFC East champs, which always happens nowadays, unless something catastrophic happens.
Yeah, so much parity.
Yeah, which is amazing. I love it. Like there are 5 new NFC teams in the playoffs, and it's like all the matchups are good.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get into the Eagles. We need to talk about this because this is kind of funny. So, for those that don't know, the Philadelphia Eagles started a certain player named Nate Sudfeld. Well, not started, but you get the point. Nick Foles struggled early in the game, and to be fair, the Cowboys struggled as well. So don't get it twisted. This is one of these.
Good defense, though. People don't give them credit for having a good defense.
What, the Cowboys or the Eagles?
Yeah, the Cowboys.
Yeah. The Cowboys have a pretty solid defense. We ranked 8th.
15 points a game when Sean Lee is on the field.
Yeah, I mean, if people who paid attention to stats, the Cowboys statistically had a top 10 defense this year. They were 8th.
Yeah.
So getting back to the point of discussion, Nick Foles has been struggling a bit. And a guy named by the name of Nate Sudfeld came out of nowhere and had a pretty decent game, but he didn't really.
I'm rolling my eyes at you right now.
Yeah, I know, because it's stupid. Like, let me just put it to you this way. Anyone that's saying that Nate Sudfeld needs to start is stupid. Yeah. That, people do not understand that the context of the game. The Cowboys were not really, they didn't really, they weren't necessarily bringing the A game. Nate Sudfeld, if you paid attention, he didn't really do as... yeah, sure, completion percentage and whatnot, but if you look at the statistics, he didn't do that impressive.
No, his completion percentage was good, but just because you have a good completion percentage, doesn't did well.
Exactly.
Wentz's completion percentage is 63%. He completed 63% of his passes. The thing is that if you watch the game, and I'm guessing that most of those people didn't watch that game, because on a 3rd and 5, Nick Foles, who I will say struggled in that game and struggled the week before, he had a wide open Torrey Smith. The ball was in his hands.
Oh, yeah.
The ball went into his hands. He had a chance to run 15 extra yards down the field, maybe 10 or 15. And what happened? He legitimately dropped it. And it costed the team points. And that I consider that moment, because Foles was playing really well up to that point, which was like the first drive. But still, Foles helped them march down the field. He had 2 completed passes at that point. That completely killed Nick Foles' confidence.
Yeah.
All of his confidence. So
I think Nick Foles is the guy. Look, I don't know why people are insinuating that Nate Sudfeld's going to come out and lead you guys to the promised land. In reality, Nick Foles is the best option you guys have. Plain and simple. I mean, Nick Foles, he's had playoff experience. Yes, I know he struggled, but you got to keep in mind that, you're going to struggle. Some games you're going to struggle, but it just happened to be it happened to be that the fact that, they just happened to struggle over the past couple weeks. Yeah, you guys finished 13-3, good. But what is going to scare me is, what kind of scares me more is the defense of the Eagles, because whoever comes out of that, well, if Atlanta wins, then we don't have to have this conversation. But whoever wins that Carolina and Saints game, that is going to be huge, because if the Saints win that game, I don't expect the Eagles.
I have confidence in our defense.
Yeah.
I really do. I have confidence in our defense. Our defense has played well for 2 consecutive weeks, including some of our backups last Sunday. I have the utmost confidence in the defense. The running game needs to be better. They need to play the running game more effectively, and Nick Foles has to hit open players when he can make them. I know going to stack the box against him, but there are ways to combat 8 men in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Foles can throw deep. I've seen him do it. And if the wind is a factor for the other team too. And if it's a snow game, throw offense straight out the window. Throw everything. Throw every possible what do you call it? Throw every single possible logistical thing you've worked on straight out the window, because you're just going to be running. It's going to be whoever can run the ball better is going to win that game.
Yeah, plain and simple. Look, and I will tell you, for those that don't know, I do live in New Jersey, and Hank is from New Jersey. But that right now, we are literally in the 10s, like we're in the teens of weather. Like the low is supposed to be 0 degrees. Like literally, tomorrow morning, it's supposed to be 1 degree. That's how cold it is here. And I will tell you that Philly is going to be, well, then again, like if the playoff game was this week, Philly, I would tell you Philly would have a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But on considering the fact that now the temperature's supposed to rise,
Yeah. I mean, I have confidence in this team.
TM.
In one playoff game. I don't think they go one and done. I think they go to the NFC Championship game and they play competitively against either whoever they play against.
And then they lose.
That's my
I will, so like I will say that again. It all depends on matchups. That I will tell you.
Yeah, it does. And it all depends on catching the frickin' ball when it comes into your hand. Because a lot of these passes, they were bad passes, but they were catchable bad passes.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that the whole team needs to be playing with intensity, because it's not just Nick Foles who's had off games. It's the whole offense that's been having off games, and they seem to not be in it, like mentally. They've seemed to mentally check out is the biggest issue, and you can't have that. You can't have players mentally checking out because they're going to make themselves look bad. But the way I see it, you want to talk about the coaching situation?
Yeah, and then we'll get into the wild card games.
Yeah.
So, okay, so for today,
Yeah.
we can talk about all of them. Whatever, I don't care. So for those that don't know, probably the biggest one, which we'll get out of the way, Jon Gruden is expected to sign a $100 million 10-year contract. And I'm just going to tell you this right now. I think that is a...
What a contract!
Yeah, I know.
Contract. I'm going to go into the locker room and give it a beach.
All I can tell you is this. That is I don't know what the frig the Raiders are doing, but history shows you that you don't do that kind of stuff because it doesn't really work out. I guarantee you that Jon Gruden's going to coach for 4 seasons and then I'll be gone. He will not be here for the whole 10 year of that deal.
He's going to be there, and I will quote Chip Kelly on this. He will be there for the next 1,000 years.
No. But look, let me just put it. And then another thing. I'm not sure how you feel on the Jon Gruden contract that they're giving him. I think it's ridiculous.
$100,000.
$1 million. But we all know about the other coaching vacancies that we've gone into, so we won't go into that. But Bruce Arians retired. An interesting one that just surfaced as of today.
I hate that guy.
Another one that surfaced today was I think his name is Mike Mularkey, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. The head coach of the Tennessee Titans is reportedly on the hot seat because if he does not win this playoff game, he will be fired. God dang it. No, but as I was saying, I think that's kind of dumb too.
It really is dumb, especially because you fired the Wizenhuntinator last mid-season, and you brought him in. It's really stupid. Even if, let's say Mike Mularkey is the worst coach in the NFL right now, okay? Let's just say, for instance, he is the worst coach in the NFL right now. Your team just went to the playoffs for the first time. You won a game to get into the playoffs for the first time since I think I was in college, and I think Ricky was in the 5th grade or something.
I was in 5th grade, yeah.
But I don't understand people who do this because you just made an improvement record-wise. Yeah, you didn't make an improvement, but you went to the friggin' playoffs.
Yeah, you were in a. But what's crazy about this? You're in a win and get in situation. It wasn't like you needed help to get into the playoffs like the Bills. Which, by the way, and this is kind of funny. The last time the Bills made the playoffs, I was 1 year old. Just so you know. So last time
the Bills made the playoffs. I didn't have any hair on my chest.
Yeah. Let's just take it as you may. But look, I personally think that I'm ecstatic for these playoff matchups, the wild card round. They're all very good matchups, and very interesting matchups to say the least as well.
Hopefully, we get at least one upset. Because I don't think we got any last year.
The Titans are going to be the upset.
They're going to beat the Jaguars?
No, the Titans are going to beat the Chiefs. That's my prediction.
Oh, my bad. They're going to beat the Chiefs? Okay.
Oh, so I guess now I don't really have a lot to talk about these head coaches, just more or less just mention them. So let's get into these wild card weekend games. So the first one we have coming up, I believe it's at 3. I could double check that.
I think it's at
yeah. It's at 4:35 Eastern. Tennessee is traveling to Kansas City. For those that don't know, I already did my video on predictions. My Super Bowl pick is it's Saints over Steelers. That is my Super Bowl prediction going into this week or into the playoffs. I have Tennessee defeating Kansas City mainly due to the fact Tennessee has an amazing run defense. I feel that Kansas City resting their people in the last week of the season isn't going to help them. I think, and also Tennessee has beaten them over the past 2 games, just so you know. So, I mean, what do you think?
I think the Chiefs will win. Just because I just think that all around they have a better team. LaShawn McCoy, I don't think he's.
You mean Kareem Hunt or Derrick Henry?
DeMarco Murray isn't playing.
So but
I think that'll be a strain. LaShawn McCoy is also not playing.
Well, that too, yeah, obviously.
But I think it'll be a strain on the whole team. I just see the Chiefs winning this game. I think the Chiefs are too good to lose this game.
Well, and then now they're gonna lose.
Struggled against Tennessee in recent years. I don't think they played them this year though.
No, they played them last year.
Okay, they played the Bills, and I just think the Chiefs are gonna win this one. Okay. Honestly,
I mean, yeah, like I think that if the Chiefs can get Kareem Hunt over 100 rushing yards, they're gonna win the game. But I will say this: if the game is close, regardless if the Chiefs are winning or not, the Titans have a higher chance of winning the game. If the Titans can keep it close, they're gonna win probably.
I also don't think that Marcus Mariota has played up to par this season.
Yeah, he definitely had a down season.
If you get him to turn the ball over a few times, I think that you're in trouble.
Yeah. I will tell you. Yeah. So I got the Titans winning. I believe I said the score is going to be 23-20 off of a game-winning field goal. So let's get into the next game later today. I believe this is an 8:00 game. Yeah. It's the Falcons traveling to the Rams to take them on. I picked the Rams in this matchup, I believe, by 7.
I think I picked the Rams by like 27. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons win this game, but at the same time, I won't. I don't know the last time an NFC West team has lost at least one playoff game. I think throughout the years, they've always won it. An NFC West team has always won a playoff game.
Yeah.
And in this case, I think there are 4 teams that were at least old NFC West teams.
Yeah.
right now. That being the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers. Don't ask me why. They're all on the East Coast. But logic means nothing in the old NFL. Yeah, that is true. The Falcons are 0-2 in the wild card with Ryan. They've not played very well in the wild card. So I have the Rams winning this game just because of their potent offense. And I don't think the Falcons right now have the firepower. I mean, they have the firepower, but I don't think they'll have the right strategy to combat the Rams. I think that the Rams will score their first touchdown, and then it'll be over. The Falcons will get the ball first. They'll punt.
And then the Rams score. Well, once the Rams start rolling, you can't stop them.
Yeah, it's very hard to get them off pace. I think the only 2 teams to do it this season, the Eagles and the Vikings. The Vikings and the Eagles at the very end. I think that both those games, the Rams had horrendous fourth quarters. No points or just 1 touchdown. So.
Yeah, so with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the Sunday games. Excuse me. Yeah. The first one, it's the AFC matchup. We got the Bills traveling to the Jaguars. 2 teams that haven't been to the playoffs in a long time, so you get through a playoff experience out the window in this one. But at the same time, this is a pretty interesting matchup. Me personally, I got the Jags by 10, mainly due to the fact that, look, if LaShawn McCoy was playing, the Bills would have a chance.
Yeah.
But considering the fact that he's not playing, they don't have a chance.
I don't think so either. Just because Tyrod is, to me, I know he got them there basically, but he's just not effective unless he's dinking it down the field.
Yeah, exactly.
And LeSean McCoy being out will be a detriment to him and his abilities. I think Shady is out. Well, he might not be out. He is out of the boot. Which honestly, I wouldn't play him. That is so stupid.
I don't know.
What if he gets injured again? He tears his ACL.
Rip the Bills. But
yeah. I have the Bills losing. The Jaguars
yeah.
win.
Yeah, we both have the Jaguars winning. And finally, my personal game of the week, it's the Panthers traveling to the Saints. For those that don't know, the Saints did sweep the Panthers by double digits in the regular season, but that doesn't matter here.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Saints winning, I think, what did I say, by 7 or by 4? No, I said by 4. The reason why is because the Saints are at home. They are a very good team at home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah. They're better at home. I think I had the Saints winning by 5, 27-22.
Okay.
Don't ask me how I got that score. Or, yeah, 27. I had one 27-22 and one game that was going to be 24-22 or something like that. Or maybe I thought that in my head.
Look, I'm just hoping I go 4 for 4 in the wild card round.
Yeah, same.
That's all I'm hoping.
I think I'm good for 3-1. Honestly. Do you want to talk briefly about the Rooney Rule?
Yeah, sure, and then we'll end it. So for those that don't know, the Rooney Rule is a rule
that was created by a wrinkly old white guy in like the late 80s, I think.
I think that's when it was instituted, yeah.
I think his name was either Art Rooney or his name was Dan Rooney. And his granddaughter married the son of John Mara, and they both had a love child that kind of looks like my ass crack, but don't quote me. I've never seen it. They created the evil kingdom that we now known as the Maras and Rooneys.
Yeah, the incest fest.
The incest quest.
Well, that's what I call it, the incest
quest. Everybody, put your weapons in the middle.
No, we don't talk about
that. But yeah, it was a rule basically created so that NFL owners and GMs wouldn't be considered racist. Because in a sense, they have to interview. If you're interviewing for any type of coaching position, you must at least interview one minority racial individual.
Yes, and that can be either African American, Hispanic, pretty much. If you are interviewing a head coach, like any coach, you must have a minority, at least one, right?
Yeah, at least one. And here's the reason why the rule's stupid. You don't even have to consider. I mean, you just have to consider them, but you don't have to seriously consider them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, I want to hire Bill Belichick to be my next head coach. Let me think of someone who's not white in order to make the rule possible, right? So you take somebody to decide.
Unless you're assuming someone's race, then obviously like
you put blackface on them, and then you're like, see, he's black, but that's racist. Or you can yes, you can't really assume someone's race. My race is helicopter. But like, it's honestly, in a sense, like I'll put it to you this way, and I'm not comparing racial minorities to mentally challenge people in
I
this
didn't know.
analogy, okay? It's like if you were to, I'm not saying they're the same, but it's kind of like this. Let's say, the society comes out and says, well, we're not giving enough jobs to mentally challenged people, right? We're not offering enough jobs to mentally challenged people. And let's say they say, any hire you make, you must also interview at least one mentally challenged person. Now, you don't need to hire them, you just need to interview them. So, ready, set, go. And that in lies the problem with the rule. Are you gonna hire a mentally challenged person, or someone with a person with autism, or a person with Down syndrome, or some other mental deficiency? Or
I'd hire Jason Garrett.
Are you gonna hire them to be like, are you gonna hire them to like deal with like important pieces of any kind of job? Are you gonna hire them to be like to like do like, let's say, doing campaigning, or
Obviously not.
working for a computer, or a programming job or something like that, or in like a bank, like at a bank, or I for some reason I'm blanking on jobs right now. But are you going to hire that person? Probably not. Is that fair? No, it's not fair.
Sure, it's not fair, but at the same time, you have to consider like the situation itself. Like for example, like someone that is now obviously you can't. This is like comparing apples to oranges, but I get the point. But the point is like I'm not gonna hire someone, and it's and like people like they'll be like, oh, so you hate mentally challenged people? It's like no, because we just feel, or I feel, that in order to complete this job and ensure that it's done to the best of its abilities, I need someone that is experienced in this field and does not have any deficiencies that are going to hinder their job.
Now, if the mentally challenged person is the best person for the job, then hell yeah, hire the mentally.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, like if they're
hire the person with autism, hire the person who has Down syndrome. Yeah, if that's the right person for the job, then hell yeah, take that person. But if I have a coach in mind, right? Let's say he's white, right? And I hired that person.
Okay.
It's not racist. I'm not racist against black people. I just like that guy better. I don't give a shit about his race.
Yeah, like let me put it to you this way. When we at my when I intern right now for but then again I'm about gonna get another job, guys. This guy's running for Congress. But the point is, when I interviewed for my job, the guy that quote that hired me, he was Hispanic, right? He didn't look at me and be like, okay, like, all right, this guy's also Hispanic, so we must hire him. No, I gave him a resume, and he like, here it is. And then he was like, okay, how about you start X day because we think that you're best for the job. I'm like, oh, cool. And then, yeah, the point is that in certain fields, they look at your resume, they look at what you've done, and that's what they determine to hire you. Like, for example, the Raiders hired Jon Gruden. Why? Because of his quote unquote illustrious resume.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I think is overrated because of the one Super Bowl win. I mean, I'm not trying to say Jon Gruden's a bad coach. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand why people think he's a great coach.
Yeah.
But then again, who am I supposed to know?
Because he came up with Spider Two-Eyed Banana, which, by the way, that's going to be the first play he runs as an NFL coach again. Spider Two-Eyed Banana.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, who is going to replace Jon Gruden in Monday Night Football?
Obviously Alex Jones.
It's gonna be Frank Caliendo as Jon Gruden.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. I would not mind that at all. That would probably even be better than Jon Gruden himself.
But as for the Rooney Rule, I think that it's a dumb rule. I mean, it's a rule that is in good faith, but it's not a rule that gets Black people, Hispanic people, or Latin American, Chicano, whatever you call yourself, hired.
That's racist.
Hired. It's not something that's going to get Asian people hired or an Asian person hired. It's not something that's going to get a woman hired. Okay. It's kind of like a rule that nobody really follows, even though they're supposed to follow. I think that, in a sense, the Rooney Rule should be a guideline instead of a rule.
Yeah,
it's with a guideline, you know, you could get like you can't really get in trouble for not following it. It's just like, this is what you should do. I mean, you should only have one cookie instead of 5. But
yeah, obese.
But it's like, to me, it doesn't really have, it shouldn't really have a place because it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't ensure that Black people or racial minority people get hired. It's kind of like, again, like, it's more racist than if the rule wasn't even there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we need to talk about, or are we good?
Talk about how Arizona's losing 45-29 to Colorado.
Oh, well, we don't talk about that.
Talk about Arizona. We could talk about Dick Rod for a second.
Okay.
Before we go, everyone knows that I call Rich Rodriguez Dick Rod because, ironically, he is a dick rod.
Well, yeah, and also,
what's with Arizona sports coaches? Like, what the hell is with them? Like,
I don't know.
Harassing like athletes, and like the dude grabbed his junk and like twirled it around at this girl.
Quality.
He also stood on the sideline with his wife and his mistress at the same time.
That's just quality right there. Quality coaching.
Rod. And the university was so stupid for not firing him after last season, because now this season, who the hell's going to be their head coach? And need to wait till like February. So not only are they behind the ball. Well, first and foremost, the sexual harassment thing is way more important than football. Secondly, what about all those athletes that committed to Arizona, but now they're not going to go there anymore because Dick Rod isn't there anymore?
Oof.
No, and the buyout. Oh, this is going to set Arizona back. Okay, the Wildcats will not, in my opinion, they will not be good at football for another 5 years. Because they had a chance at Chimp. Now you can't get Chimp.
Yeah. We all know that Chip Kelly, your Lord and Savior, is gonna come and save you.
Could have fired him at the end of the regular season, like ASU did.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's whatever. What are you gonna do? But I guess, unless you have anything else to say.
All I could say is in fantasy, don't start Deshaun Kaiser. Yeah.
In fantasy, you should start Harrison Butker.
Yeah, make sure to start him, even though fantasy's
greatest last name since Dick Butker.
But anywho, that does it for this week.
That does it for all the lunacy. I apologize to you guys.
I'm sorry. It's just been a slow week.
It's been a slow week. We wish we could talk more about the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick.
No, we don't just. It's on the Cincinnati.
We don't talk about drama.
Yeah. Sir, you need to speak up. It's like
I'm literally, I'm literally I am. I'm the best of the best, and
Yeah.
better than me. Not even Tom Brady.
Yeah. Spoken like a true champion. Anyhow, so that wraps it up for this iteration of Here's the Thing. At the end of the day, we'll be back next week. Hopefully, it's a much more livelier. Maybe because it's been kind of a slow slow sports week.
Everything there's just not as like there are like two main stories they're talking about. I think they both have to do with the New England Patriots, or it's the Patriots, John Gruden, and like
a bunch of other crap. Yeah.
It's.
But anywho, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and everything else that we're on, because why not? And because we're lonely.
Go on Facebook, you watch the Friday Night Roundup that Josh and DJ did.
Yes, make sure to do that.
I'm planning on watching it like 100 times.
Yeah, I'm watching it 1,000,000 times over just to make sure it hits 1,000,000 views.
1,000,000 times so we get 1,000,000 views. I am back.
Yeah. But anywho, that's been our time.
Yep.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
That is it, and don't die.
Yeah, don't die. Yeah, motto of every week.
The most important thing, the two birds and a third. We hope our viewers don't die. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we say we care about our viewers. But anyhow,
tells you to kick rocks. Tell them that Hank and Ricky. Just tell them that we don't want them to die. Either.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like bullying is wrong, but you don't want the bullies to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Dying is bad. unless you're a plant.
Unless you're a plant, then no one cares.
Unless you're a plant, dying is good because the dead plants help the soil.
I don't know what we're doing anymore. So. All right. Goodbye, guys.
Have a good day and don't die.
Don't die.